Thank you. Lovely, thank you. Good morning, welcome to iCare, iMove. This morning you have pliability, so do what you can, as always. If you're not feeling up to it, or if you have some injuries, we'll show you some adaptations, or just find a position that you prefer or you like and get into that position and stay there and hold it. So, to start with, as always, in pliability, we lie down. How lovely is that? So lie on your backs, and I'll talk you through it. Lie on your backs, make yourselves comfortable, and just breathe. Just breathe. So how do we do this? It's not complicated, is it? But it's really important to settle yourself. Settle your body, relax off through the legs, the thighs, the feet, the toes. Relax the back, the chest, the shoulder blades. Right the way down to the fingers. Sometimes it helps to have your palms facing up and let all that tension from your fingers go. And just breathe into your belly. Really deeply, right down into the belly. So as you breathe in, the belly swells. And as you breathe out, the belly falls. You're not really overthinking it. Just feeling the breath in your body. What does it feel like? Just notice your belly and notice the breath. Maybe be aware of the ribs swelling outwards, so expand into the sides. Relaxing the body a little bit more each time you breathe out. Just taking a few moments to start the session in a calm state, relaxed and ready to go, ready to move the whole of your body. Just take a couple more long, slow, deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. And just setting your intention for the rest of the day. Having positive thoughts, feeling great about yourself, and knowing that you're starting your day in a positive way. So taking your time, we transition into child's pose. So rolling over onto your side or your back, onto your side, and then coming over onto your front. Settling back, your bottom towards your heels, and pushing those arms out in front of you. Just taking your time to get into that position, working with your body. So if one arm doesn't want to go, send the other one forwards. And then maybe adjust the shoulders and allow the other one to come forwards a little bit. So keep moving, and it might be side to side, moving those hips side to side, trying to get the armpits lower to the floor, doing what feels good for you. And from here we transition into our chest opener. So we take our bodies forwards, take the weight onto the heels of your hands, lower your hips, but not too much, keeping tension through the core. And we squeeze our shoulder blades together at the back, opening out the chest, keeping that tension, really focusing, engaging through the abdominals, and then coming back into child's pose. Taking your time to move sideways slowly and gently, whatever feels good for you today. And then transitioning forward. So it's a slow flow, but go in your own time. So trying not to drop the hips too much. And then coming back. So really opening out the hips in child's pose, opening up the chest when we flow forwards. And keep moving. Keep breathing, trying not to hold your breath at any one time. Just really enjoying this movement. As we mobilise the body, we start to warm the body up. Settling forwards, squeezing the chest, the shoulder blades to open the chest. And then we come up to one side. So settle onto your hip, lower yourself down to the ground as we take one arm. So the bottom arm reaches forwards. You can have a cushion if you want, or a ball under your head. And the top hand reaches to the bottom hand. So both hands are together to start with. Then we start to take our arms into that sunshine shape. So take that hand across the floor so the fingers touch the floor as the hand goes overhead and towards the back side of the body. Now, if you can only reach so far to start with, that's fine. Come back to the starting point. So working within your own abilities here. And if you've got back pain, sometimes it's nice to just hold that position with the arm behind you. Reaching forwards, just taking your time through those motions, through those movements, trying to reach that arm a bit further back. Trying to get the arm a little bit further back each time. But drawing the hand across the floor as you go over and as you come back as well. Allowing the knees to separate now. And maybe reaching a little bit further back. Lovely. And one more time. And then we're going to flip and come on to the other side. I'm going to show you an adaptation. So, because I have a shoulder problem, so I know some people are not able to do that. So sometimes it's easier on your knees. You can come up on off your bottom, so settling back and just taking one arm up as far as you can go comfortably, and then dropping. If you're on your side, that's it, bringing your knees up. So your knees are together, feet are together, and just allowing that arm to brush over the floor. If your shoulder is injured, you can just make a circle with that shoulder, with the elbow, sorry, hand to shoulder. Making a circle, or just opening that shoulder out, drawing it across your body. So we have lots of adaptations in Pilates, and we have people with hip problems, shoulder problems, knee problems, back problems. So we try and adapt for all conditions. Allowing the knees to separate. Taking that arm a little bit further back, keeping breathing as you go. Really feel that lovely stretch into the waist, into the lower back, into the shoulder. Excellent. Holding it if you like a position. Pilates is all about you. So if you find something that you feel you need to stay with, if you have a niggle and you need to work on that niggle by stretching, then that's fine. Okay, we're coming into all fours again. So into thread the needle. So hands under the shoulders, take your time to transition. So nothing is rushed in Pilates. Knees are under hips. So we start by dropping one shoulder as we take that hand under and through the hand and the armpit of the opposite side. Dropping that shoulder towards the floor if you can. Settle. Feel a stretch into the shoulder blades. Rising, bringing that arm up. Lifting that arm upwards to the ceiling. Take your eye gaze with you. Slowly lowering, dropping that arm through. So a lovely flow. Working through the shoulders, through the chest. And you keep going. Again, if we're kneeling, it's across the body. Opening out, reaching up and out, across. Lovely, reaching up and out. Or again on all fours and just maybe not dropping that shoulder so far. Really push this supporting shoulder away from the ears, so try not to let the shoulder drop. So you've got strength through the shoulder joint. And then we're going to swap sides. So just changing hands, resetting your position. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips, pulling the muscles in the abdominals in. And then we start to allow the other arm to drop through, settle the shoulder down, opening up, making those adaptations if you need to. Shoulder injuries might just want to lift the elbow or open the whole arm. Dropping down, lifting and opening within your own ranges, your own range of mobility. And again, kneeling option is across the body, reaching up and out, across the body, reaching through and up and out. Fabulous. And then coming into a sitting position. So coming into a seated position with your feet to one side. So this is working on our core strength. So to start with, and if you have back problems, you might want to just take your hands behind you to start with to take the pressure off the back. We're going to take the knees over to the other side and drop the knees to the opposite side. And then we come back to the starting position. If you can, we take the hands off and we just use the muscles in our belly, in our core, to help us keep upright. Now you will move, so you might move towards me, towards the camera, towards your phone. That's fine. So think about really focusing on pulling those muscles in the belly in. That's it. So working side to side. A really great exercise for the hips, opening the hips, the glutes, the abs, all of it. And then we add on. So we come to one side, we take a rotation, hands come behind you and add a press. A big push up, change sides to take the knees to the other side, rotate, turn, press down and push the body up. So adding in a few. This one gets you a little bit warmer because we're using pretty much all of the muscles in the body here. Try to keep breathing, keep going, keep moving. How does it feel with that stretch and the reach, the press? What does it feel like in your body? Can you feel a stretch up the side seams? Are you getting puffed out? Are you fine? That's it, lovely. Excellent. Lovely. And then we're going to come into our sumo squat. So some of you won't be able to do this. So if you want to just start with wide knees on all fours, you can. And just hold it here. Or you can come into a stand position and work at coming into a squat. Otherwise, we're going to take one foot wide and then the other foot wide. And if you can, you drop your bottom towards the floor. If not, here is fine, but it's quite hard to stay there. So use a chair or a piece of furniture to just hold on to, and we're going to move. So we're going to move, flow side to side, lifting the heels, lifting the toes, whatever feels good for you. Adapting where you need to. Then from here, we're going to drop the head down towards the floor, lift the bottom, lift the hips, straightening off the legs, but bending one, straightening the other. So we're moving side to side, almost like a walk. So that's it, lovely. If you're halfway, if you're not quite in a squat, then just side to side. And you might want to take your feet a little bit wider, and then we're going to come back down to that sumo squat, dropping the hips, eye gaze comes forwards, using your elbows now to push those knees out. That's it, good. You're doing well. So just keep moving, dropping the head now. Dropping the head, getting some movement, some stretches through the backs of the legs, through the hamstrings, the backs of the knees. You might feel it into the calves, but really stretching the whole of the back side of the body, of the legs. the lower body. Pushing the bottom out might give you a bigger stretch when you come to one side. Pushing the bottom up, you might feel it into your groins. And then we gently roll up to halfway. Coming into cat-cow, so pushing the bottom back, slightly off lock knees if you can. And then we round through the spine. Eye gaze through the knees, through the legs. Just relaxing the head. And then we lift the chin, stick the bottom out, breathe, and roll. So it's really important to breathe through this flow, stretching through the spine and the shoulder blades. So sideways, long ways, lifting the chin, pushing the bottom out, feeling a lovely stretch. And again, round through last time. And pushing up, up, up. And we roll up. Keep moving your feet. Pump your heels at the top so you don't feel dizzy. Into our standing strong. So, is everybody okay? Lovely. Okay, so coming into our rotation. So we're working through the ribs, the torso, the upper body here. So we take our feet about hip width apart and we soften through the knees. Our hips are facing forwards and we're trying to keep them there for now. And we're going to bring our fingers together. Our fingertips just kind of one on top of the other. And just breathe. Then we're going to take a rotation. So sending the elbow back. As we take the elbow back, we outstretch the arm. So extend the arm, bring that hand back in, face the front, and then move into the other side. So keeping the hips quite still for now. And it might mean that you need to bend those knees a little bit more, stretch that hand back, and bring it to center. To the other side, reaching out, seeing if you can get that hand further, trying to drop the shoulders, not hunching the shoulders up towards your ears, relaxing the shoulders. That's it, lovely. And just keep moving this way, opening, last one, and then we're just going to add in a lateral movement. So taking one hand up and over, pushing the other hand away. So you're pushing in opposite directions. Come back to center, push the other way. So the hands push and breathe. And just keep moving. Stretching through the sides of our bodies. Last one. Okay, coming into single leg circle now. So we stand through one leg. So this knee is off lock, okay? So it's not locked out. The other leg, we flex through the foot. So it lifts the foot off the floor. Then we make a circle towards the back side of the body. A small, slow circle. Working through the glutes. So you might feel that you should feel a squeeze at the back here. I'll show you sideways. So here, the movement is backwards, so I'm behind my body. Okay, so we are working. You might feel it in the lower back. We get a little stretch through the front of the hip. And then reverse directions. Remember that supporting knees soft. We're standing tall. A great posture. Lifting through the chest. And then we're going to swap sides. So just taking the weight onto the other leg. Soften through the knee. Flexing through the foot. Taking that foot back a little bit before you start to make a circle backwards. Squeezing through the bottom at that back movement. Trying to keep the bottom tucked under and trying not to arch the back here. It's quite easy to kind of, as we bring that leg back, to just stick the belly out and arch the back. Trying to keep the hips, the bottom tucked under. And then we change direction of that foot. So taking the foot backwards, squeeze into the bottom. Eye gaze is forwards and shoulders are relaxed. Nice and slowly. Lovely. And rest out. You might want to pump your heels a little bit. Okay, now we come into our beautiful tick-tock. So just be careful if you have back issues going on. We start in the foot position. So the toes press down on the floor. And just hold that for a second. That's a lovely stretch through the front of the foot. It's one that we don't do very often, so enjoy it. Then we add in the same hand, the hand on the same side, lifts up to the ceiling, brace the core, lift that hand, keep going if you can, to the overhead and bring that hand down. So just a couple of goes there, just testing, mobilizing before we add on. So again, thinking about those muscles in the core that support you. Okay, from here we take that hand up. As we lean forwards, the toes lift and we tick-tock forwards, push the toes out to the back and the fingers to the front. So you're in a long line. We come back up, toes rest on the floor, hand pushes back and lean forward and tick-tock. Hinging from the hips, pushing through from the hand to the toes. Every time. Last one, reaching forwards, lifting the toes, pushing away so you get lovely length and bring those feet down. March it out and turn round, so, or just swap sides. So we're going to go again. So taking the toes back and resting the toes on the floor. And you might feel different on this side. One side is bound to be stronger than the other or more flexible. So just leaving the toes there, getting that feeling of the stretch through the front of the foot and the front of the ankle. Then we add in the arm movement. So the hand lifts to the ceiling and overhead if you can. Just go as far as you can if that's causing you some discomfort. You might want to just lift that arm up a little bit. And then we add the tick-tock, so you can hold on to something if you need to. So pushing the foot away, pushing the hands away, fingers away, tick-tocking back up, leaning back and tick-tocking. So 4 or 5 times, but pushing away, trying to get length through the body, and you keep going. Lovely, beautiful, excellent, fabulous, lovely. Okay, we're going to come into our lovely lunge. So our lateral lunge. So this is the one where we lift our foot and we step and stand. So I'm going to come to one side. I'll do one side only. You can do one side or both sides. So I'll show you both options. So one side is lift, land, turn the toes, lean, elbow to knee if you want to reach. So that's the whole movement, opening out the shoulders, opening out the chest. Then to come back, we add a big push to come back. So single leg, land, lean, drop the hips, reach. I've got a tree in my way, so excuse that. And then the movement is a big push back, so adding confidence and courage to that movement. If you're going both sides, it's exactly the same, but we just alternate sides. So I'm going to stick with this side. So land, lean, drop the hip, reach, open out the chest if you can, eye gaze up to the ceiling. Big push off. So what we're looking for is that courage in the big step over, the lean and land, the reach, drop the hip, open. And then we're looking for that big push off, that powerful push back as we lift the leg over. And keep going, just a couple more times. And this is the one that might make you out of breath. So really trying to lift and open that chest up, lovely. And let's swap sides when you're ready. So again, you might feel a difference in one side. So we lift that leg, land confidently, turn the toes out, lean. And then rather than just lifting the hips, drop the hips, reach up and over, open the chest, hand comes down and a big push off to land. So remembering to lift that foot up and over as if you're stepping over something. Fabulous, and keep going, lift and lower. Step over, lean, reach, drop the hip, back, push back, and one or two more. One or two more. Lovely. Good. Okay, now we're going to go to the wall. We're going to make our way to the wall. So, and this is where we come into our press ups. So, in standing, hands are wide, shoulder height, feet are hip width apart, and we lift up onto our heels, onto our balls of our feet. So we're onto the balls of our feet, lower the body towards the floor, press the body away, lower the heels down, and repeat. So lift, come onto the balls of the feet, press down. So keeping a long line through the body. And just repeat in your own time. If you want to keep up off the heels, you can. Working really strongly through the calves. Lowering and lifting your body towards the wall and back. So the hands are quite wide here. Okay. Then we're going to change. So come down onto your heels, put the feet together and open the toes out. So the heels try to stay together. The hands come into a more narrow position and down a bit, so they're about chest height. Lift the heels off, press your body towards the, or allow it to drop towards the wall, push off. So into tricep press here. So allowing the body to lower towards the wall, push off, all the while on your toes, but with the heels almost touching if you can. And a couple more and lower down. Feet come together again, and this time we turn the toes out, so you're in a duck position. It's very attractive. This time you can take a walk away a little bit, a couple of steps away, and alternate. So we've got one hand up and one hand down, so we're going to alternate. So we press, push off, change hand position. Now this is where you can start to come off the wall if you want to. You might need to step back a bit more, add in more weight bearing, exercise, impact through the hands, wrists. Lowering and lifting. Lovely. Okay, from here, we're going to change up. So we're going to walk the hands down, walk the feet away, and just drop the chest. Drop the chest down towards the floor and just hold it here. We're going to drop one arm and allow it to hang really heavy and let it just swing, let it just go in its own kind of direction. So mine's circling, so it's going in a little circle. Try and get it to go the other way. So releasing any tension through the shoulder, working through the opposite arm, through the shoulder. And then just swinging that arm side to side, but that movement comes from the shoulder. And then we're going to change sides. So change hands, drop the other arm. Allow it to do what it naturally wants to do. And then try and get it to go the other way. And then we swing side to side. And then from here we bring that hand up, working through the legs now. So adapting where you need to. Our hands are still on the wall, our hips are pushed away. We're going to lift one knee towards the chest. Keeping the knee bent, lift the heel towards the shoulders at the back or towards the bottom. Bringing the knee down, curling that knee up towards the chest, pushing away. If you have a hip issue, you might want to just come a bit higher, lift the hands higher and not be so much in flexion. So lifting, so the squeeze is, the knee is bent, the squeeze is towards the bottom and then in towards the chest, and we're going to swap sides. If this is too much for shoulders, you can also come up. You can also just walk your hands up the wall a little bit. It just takes the pressure off the shoulder a little bit. So as you squeeze the knee in, just think about where it feels in the back. And as you squeeze the heel towards the bottom, You might feel it in the back of the leg, the knee, the bottom, the glutes, and then come up to standing. Lovely, fabulous. And pump those heels for me. So going into our lovely curtsy lunge now. So I'll demonstrate first. So I'll go from the sides. So I'm taking a long step back and across my body. So I'm quite a long way away. And then I'm going to dip my knees. And then I'm going to come back. From the front, it's a long step across. And you might want to practice, as you can see I was a bit wobbly. You might want to just practice that step a few times. Now, hip ladies, hip gents, you might want to just take that foot back behind you. Sometimes that crossbody movement is not good for you, but coming back into a wide base of support. So cross, bend. So it's a lunge as well. So it's curtsy, lunge, working through the whole of the legs, but building confidence. And again, single side if you haven't got much room, or you can alternate. I'm going to change sides now. So taking a step back, bending. If you can you drop that knee down in a controlled movement without that big kind of thump down, slowly rise. And why do we do this? One day you might have to get off the floor without using your arms. So building up strength through the legs with your own body weight. Whoop. And don't worry if you have wobbles or niggles, it's okay. It's okay. And it might make you hot again. So if you're in quite a narrow stand, then it's harder. So that's why so if I'm kind of just a little bit behind, you have so much more bend in your knees, it's really hard. So if you're struggling with that, make it longer. It's less distance to drop those knees. If you need to have your hands on your knees to push up, you can. If you want to have a chair by you, you can. Do whatever works for you. Fabulous. Okay, now we come back into a lateral lunge with that diagonal lunge too. So we will stay on one side for this one. So what does it look like? It's not a step over this time, it's a step to the side, land and push back, then it's a step to the diagonal, backwards. So eye gaze follows you to the side and to the diagonal behind. And then we start to add in arm movements to assist you. So pushing, letting the hands come back, whatever you want to do at this point. Ooh, using them to help you balance. I'm kind of not stepping, I'm not landing here, but you can. I'm just tapping my toes. So this is a balance challenge, but it's also looking at courage and confidence again. Stepping into different planes of movement. And then we're going to swap sides. So start small. Your body, your brain gets used to these movements. Proprioception, so your body, your brain realizes what your body wants to do and it gets used to it. And it becomes easier, hopefully. If not, it might mean you need to work a bit more on it. Might take a bit longer. Lovely. Good. Excellent. Okay. Oh, we didn't do the quad stretch, did we? Shall we sneak that one in quickly? It doesn't matter that we're up and down, because this is what happens in real life. We're up and down, aren't we? So we're going to come to the quad stretch. So come back to the wall. You might need to look, you might need to watch. So if you're away from the camera, or a sofa or a chair, and we're going to bring the toes up against the wall. Now the hard bit is taking the other foot in front of you. Hip ladies, just keep one foot down on the floor, or come into a lunge, Or you could do it in a sitting position, in a seated position, on a chair, with one foot behind you and one foot forwards. So, let me demonstrate. I'll use this stool. So, if you're sitting, imagine this is a low chair here, like this. So we're just getting a stretch through the quads. Then we're going to add in, same arm, if you're on the floor, same arm, reaches up and towards the wall. So our foot is lifted, our other foot is in front, reach up, 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 and down. Reach up, up, up. Trying to reach back. Can you reach the wall behind you? Don't worry if you can't. Lower. So lift, reach back. And then can we add both arms maybe? Reach up and back. This is back extension work. So not everybody can do this. Don't worry if you can't. If you just want to lift your arms up, then that's great. And then how about a side move? So a side lean. Taking that hand in front of the leg, side. If you've got a dodgy knee, you might not want to bring that foot right the way up the wall. And we're going to swap sides. So coming out of it gracefully is the problem. It's not a problem. We get used to it. So taking the other foot up the wall, leaning forwards with that front foot, or against a sofa is fine. Or just with that other foot on the floor. Same arm as the leg that is touching the floor, the wall, back and down. Taking that foot wider on the floor sometimes can help you with your balance. Now I haven't got a mat today, so it's hurting my knee, so I'm just going to show you and then I'm coming out. So both arms if you can, try and reach behind and hands down. So stretch up the full front of the body. And a couple more times. And then we're going to add in that side lean. So hand crosses over the thigh, reaches overhead. Lovely. And then other way. And keep going. Lovely. Excellent. And then coming into our foot drop. So this movement, we come onto the floor. We send our elbows forwards, come down onto the floor. And we lift the heels together. And we're going to drop those feet one side and then the other. If you don't want to do this, if you're unable or if it's uncomfortable, just lifting the heels together and pushing the toes away. Or just lifting and straightening and bending those legs. Otherwise, sending the heels to one side and then the other. Now the other option is to come up onto your hands and do this, or your elbows. You will move, because your knees will move, make your body move. So just allowing the toes to drop from side to side. And we're not here very long. It's not that comfortable. And then have a rest. Okay. Coming onto all fours. Into our scapular work. So, knees are under hips, hands are under shoulders. Our elbows stay straight. Our arms remain long and extended. The work comes through the shoulder girdle. So we drop the chest towards the floor, feeling a lovely stretch through the shoulder joints, and then we push those shoulders away from the ears. So retraction, protraction. So drop and push in, kneeling. It's quite similar, it's here. We pull back and we push away. I'm keeping my hands the same distance apart. The movement is purely into my shoulders. So pushing away, dropping the chest. So strong through the shoulder blades at the back. Your spine is long. Lovely. And then coming onto the floor completely into our shoulder mobilizer. Or if you don't want to be on your belly, you can be in kneeling. So lie on your belly unless you want to do it in kneeling. I'll show kneeling first. So in kneeling, it looks like this. So we start with arms above our heads. We circle them around, hands come behind, join the hands together if you want to, or just leave them here. Push them down, open the chest, lift the chin, and come round and back to the beginning. In lying, it's the same. So hands start away from you, in front of you, palms are down. We take those hands right the way out to the sides. Hands join at the back if they can. And then lift the chest, squeeze the hands. Some like to squeeze them up. I like to push my hands down. Lower, circle those arms back to the position, front position. Bring the elbows in and just lift the chest. Breathe. Send the hands away. Keep breathing right the way through. Hands come around to the bottom. Squeeze the bottom. Lift the chest. Lower. Hands circle to the top. Elbows squeeze into the sides of your chest. Lift the chest and look up. That's it, in your own time. So round, squeeze, lift, breathe, smile. You're nearly done. It's so good for you. Working through all of the muscles in your body, all of the joints. Getting lovely mobilization. Stretch in the morning is the way to go. Last time. And just rest on your fronts for one of our favorite ones, I think. Now, some of you won't be able to do this. So for some people, actually lying on their front is really good. It stretches out the fronts of your hips. So for some of you, you might want to just stay here. Otherwise, arms stretch out to the side, so 3 and 9 o'clock. We lift one heel. So we bend one knee, flex the foot, lift that knee so the heel pushes right up to the ceiling. Take that foot over to the opposite side, aiming to get that foot towards the hand behind you. Lift, lift, lift the foot to the ceiling, drop it back down, reset in the centre. Ladies, chests can get in the way sometimes, so adjust. The key is to lift that heel right up before you move it. If you've got a bad shoulder, you might want to take that hand, the palm, up to the ceiling to just take the pressure off that shoulder. So lift, lower the foot back and down, come back to centre, trying to get that hand towards that foot behind you every time, and keep going. Lovely. And have a rest. And then I want you to rest, roll over onto your back, and just take a moment. Just take a moment. And this is where we come into our lovely bridge position. So this is work in progress. And it's really good to be able to practice this at home, because not everybody will be able to do it at all. But if you can do some of it, we can all do a bridge. If you've got a back problem, actually this is a lovely one, but work within your own capabilities. So how does it look? So we lie on our backs. We bring the heels towards the bottom. And then we're going to grab one ankle. So it might mean that you have to kind of lean sideways and then pull the foot up. And then we're going to try and grab the other one. So you need to walk your bottom kind of down and move your shoulders down. So lift your bottom up, walk your shoulders down so you can grab your ankles. If not, just come into a bridge. If it's completely out of the question to come into a bridge. If you can, grab your ankles. We're going to push those hips up to the ceiling. Squeeze the bottom. Squeeze, squeeze. Lift the bottom a little bit higher. Push the hips right up. Lower down. Come out of that bridge and rest. If you're just in a normal bridge, round through the spine, lifting each vertebrae up one at a time. So that's your option. Bridges are so good for us. Okay, so if you're grabbing ankles, let's go just for the second time. We only do a couple of times. So reaching down to one ankle, then the other, grasp those ankles, pull the heels into the bottom or walk the shoulders down, squeeze the bottom, push those hips up to the ceiling, breathe, push them a little bit higher, squeeze the bottom, lower down, and just rest. You're very nearly done. So our last movement is our double leg stretch. Now some of you aren't able to do a double leg stretch, so a single leg stretch is equally as good. So we start, I'll show you single leg stretch first. So one leg is bent, the other leg just pushes away. Arms can push away as well, overhead. Reach up, knee comes in. Reach those hands, push them down to the other foot. Send that leg away, hands overhead. If you're in a double, same thing. Knees pull towards the head, the face, hands push away. Take the hands overhead, toes point away to the wall. Now, the higher the feet, the less pressure, tension through the back. The lower, obviously you need to do that only if you've got a strong back and you know you're capable. So work with it, squeeze those knees in, send the hands over, toes push away. Adapt those shoulders if you need to. If you're not good at flexing those hips too far, just lift them to a tabletop. There's so many adaptations here. You can just hold them in a tabletop if you wanted to. Push, push, push. Really work that body to its extreme. So what I mean by that, push. So squeeze here, push the fingers away, lift the knees, send the toes away, push those fingertips away, come back to neutral, drop the feet. Take the feet wide. And then we're going to drop the knees to one side. So the knees are bent and to one side. Bring them to the center. Drop them to the other side. To center. Drop to the other side. To center. And one more time. And then I want you to make yourselves comfortable as we come into our mind divator relaxation part of the session. I'm going to move a bit closer. So get a top if you want to, lie on the sofa, grab a cushion or a hoodie and just settle. Make adjustments to your body. So make sure you're comfortable. We're all so different. Slow your breath and begin by shifting your attention to the outside. Listen to the sounds around you and just let them pass. And then shift your attention to what's going on inside. If you're distracted by any other sounds, then acknowledge them and then just let them go. Come back to your breathing, taking your attention to your feet, maybe wiggling them or squeezing the toes and then letting all that tension go. So your feet and your toes are relaxed. Take your attention back to your breath, up through the nose and out through the lungs. What can you feel? Can you feel that air shifting from the nose down through the body? Feel the feet dissolving. And think about the calves, the knees and the thighs. And still breathing into and out of the lungs, filling your body with oxygen, energy. If you notice any discomfort or stiffness or pain in the legs, then just ignore, just let it go. Feeling any sensations, being aware of them, but not really paying any attention to them. Coming back to the breath every time. Feel that rise and fall of the breath. Just observing that breath in and out. Take your attention to your pelvis and your lower back. Breathing in and out. Softening and releasing through the pelvis and the back in your own time. Becoming curious about the sensations in your body. You might or you might not be aware of any. Either is fine. And thinking about your muscles and your temperature. How your body feels against the floor or the sofa. And gently shifting your awareness to your internal organs. Still breathing gently, softly. You might be able to feel your heartbeat, and you might not. Feel that tension rolling off your shoulders. Focusing that breath into your hands and fingertips. Feeling the breath reaching down to the hands and fingertips. And observing any sensations that might occur there. And focus on that flow of breath. Let your attention expand to include your entire body. Bringing your awareness to the top of your head and down to the bottom of your toes. Feel that gentle rhythm of breath as it moves through your body. Take a long breath in and a longer breath out. And start to just bring your attention to the present moment. Drawing one heel towards your bottom. And then the other. And maybe just moving your knees side to side. Just taking your time. You're strong. Remember, you're beautiful. And we're going to roll up or move into a seated position as we rise up. So taking your time here, really important, slowly, not rushing. We need you to leave your space feeling as strong as and empowered as possible. So take both feet behind you and just kneel. Curl your toes underneath if you can. And sit back into a low squat or just come up to a half stand. Settle and hold. Feel that stretch rising to the back of the heels. Lifting the hips again, dropping the bottom, dropping the head. Moving side to side. Getting ready to rise up strong and confident. We roll up through the body. We pump our heels. We start to rise up slowly. Find the happiness within. Taking the feet nice and wide. And we wrap our arms from side to side. Softening through the knees. Allowing the eye gaze to go with you. Taking some more normal breaths now. And we sink, we bend the knees, make a circle through the hands. Deep breath in and out. And 2 more times, so bend, breathe. And last one. Bring those hands down to your heart space, and well done